Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. My name is Ross Benjamin. It's Friday, July the 1st. Wow, where did June go? Anyway, like every Friday, I'm joined by Mr. Chip Chirimbes. And without further ado, Chipper, what's the good word?
Well, I might say the All-Star break. I might be able to say the holidays. Yeah, it's been men's and men's with baseball so far. Right now I'm on a 16-9 run, which isn't all that bad. But it's still
64%.
spotty. You throw a couple of 3-0s in there, then all of a sudden the rest of the way you're chopping. And fortunately, it was still above water with it. But CFL isn't all that bad either right now. So as long as I play the totals, believe it or not, Ross, as long as I play the totals. So
Yeah. And you need a lot of rouges. You know what a rouge is, right?
yeah. It helped me go over the other day for sure.
Right. I mentioned that to Doug yesterday because he plays the Canadian Football League, and he went on this whole tangent about red colors and rouge. And I says, Doug,
Well,
no disrespect, but I thought,
I love the pace of play because you get two downs and then you have to kick the ball. The
yeah,
field's a little longer. It's a little more challenging. 12 guys on the field. They're running like here I
guys
go.
in
I'm going to be
motion,
racist. I
and
could say a
yeah,
Chinese fire drill. They're running around like crazy. And it's just, it's fun. I'm getting to it. I just don't know who any
yeah,
of the
it is
players
a
are. It's
more
hard to
exciting. I
recognize who has
mean,
talent.
it is an exciting game because, like you said, I mean, you only play with three downs. I don't know if you
Yep.
mentioned that. And
Yep.
the field is longer. I think it's 120 yards. Is that right?
110 at playing
110,
fields,
right?
110.
And
And
but
and
the
the
end
end
zone,
zone's 20 yards. The
20
end
yards
zone's
in the
20
end
yards
zone. If you
itself.
don't
So
return, you can't down a ball in the end zone. You could, but it costs you a rouge, 1 point. And if you miss a field goal and the other team can't return it, or decides not to return it, you get a rouge again. That's 1 point.
hey,
So
and the goalposts are on the goal line.
and the
How about that?
goalposts are on the goal line. Remember the old days, guys crashing into the goalposts for crying out
They used
loud?
to use the post as a weapon, as an
Yeah,
offensive
it's a
guard.
pick.
And then
Yeah.
that's when they started with the goalposts that then had like it would be 3 feet back into the end zone, and they have the posts with
Yes, yes.
the L
Yeah,
shape.
because we're showing our age. Before the goalposts were H-shaped.
I know. Only my hairdresser knows for sure. So
Anyway,
yeah,
Chip, yeah, it's been a struggle for me for the last week and a half for Major League
yeah.
Baseball. Still doing good on my top plays, although I did lose last night as the Yankees dropped a 2-1 decision at Houston.
That was my top play last night as well.
Yeah, so hey, you got everything we can get out of Severino.
Yep.
But and the bullpen continues to pitch well. Houston's a tough team. There's no two
Yep.
ways about it. I think those teams are destined for an ALCS series at the end of the year. But you know what? It's not always that easy. So we'll see. A lot of baseball yet to be played. Injuries
Yep.
could happen. Hot streaks from other teams could happen. But Chipper, one thing that really stuck out to me today, I've been complaining about this for a long time,
Yeah.
but you have to adjust. Okay. So uh, there was 15 games on the board on Friday, July the 1st, which is today. And and by the way, folks, we're going to have two Major League Baseball free picks for you tomorrow, Saturday, July the 2nd. But on today's card, 12 of the 15 games have a money line favorite of minus 140 or greater. And for guys like us
Yeah.
that don't like to lay that big juice, it really limits our options.
Well, that's why I posted one side and one total today. I'm not going to be intimidated into doing it. I'm not going to be forced into laying a 2-1 favorite or $1.80 favorite. I'm just not going to do it, Ross. And you know how I really hate to lay runs, and unless you really see teams hitting the ball really well, I think we have to be a little more selective. It's where you have less to choose from as it is. So from our style, for what we do, because like we said, anybody can go out there and give a 2-1 favorite. They don't have to call us for what we like for that.
No, I mean they could do that all on their own.
Right.
Look, I mean I've had to adjust. I've given out a lot of totals this year and a lot of run lines.
Yep.
And right now 9-4 with my last 13 on the run line. I got 3 of those tonight, by the way.
Good.
In Major League Baseball, totals 13-9 the last 22. Not great, but it's still making you money. And I have one of those tonight. And then I do have a 10-star money line top play, which I've done awfully well with over the last few years. And but that's one of the 4 games that didn't have the money line favorite of -140 or greater. So,
Right.
go figure. But having said that, what you just alluded to, it's the same predicament for me every day. This is very
Yeah.
odd for me to have this many plays
Yeah.
through this course of time because of the lines we're looking at. But you know what, Chip? Instead of complaining about it, we need to adjust and let's keep chugging along here, grinding it out. And football's just around the corner. How about that? Not Canadian football, the real football, National Football
man.
League.
It's really going to be interesting to see what's going on in college football this year with with all the new allotments. and rules.
UCLA and USC going to the Big Ten, Chip.
It's going to be going to Big Ten. They're going to the NFL in 2 weeks. Come on. What the heck?
One kid, who was it? The kid from Miami? Freshman from Miami signed a $9 million deal to brand his name. So there's 12 quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks, projected starting quarterbacks in the NFL this year that aren't making what he made with that $9 million.
That's outrageous. That's outrageous. I got to follow up on that. I got to find out about that. That sounds outrageous to me. It's pretty wild, isn't it? That's the state of affairs on college football sports now, I guess. It
goes from one extreme to the other, though, Chipper. I mean, we always said, you start paying these kids, they'll stop leaving early. But now when you start giving out $9 million deals.
My feeling was all along, and I guess that their payment is their room and board and their education, which is costing people anywhere from 60 to 120,000 a year, and depending on where you're going. And so that's supposed to be part of it. And I also thought that when these kids would leave early, they should pay back the institution with the money they're getting from the pros, because it's no longer a student athlete. They don't exist anymore.
Well, here's the problem with that, Chipper. How many of these kids leave early and don't make it?
That's their issues.
Year.
I mean, there was a.
So if I could just finish my thought here.
Go ahead.
That I think that by this whole thing where they can get paid for their brand name, and be marketed, will keep some kids in school where they won't opt to leave early.
But Ross, if they have to actually go to class and end up with a number of points each, you have to take a number of courses to be eligible.
You do. I mean, you have to stay eligible with at least.
I think just the opposite. I think once they get the money, they don't care. I really, where's their incentive?
The incentive is they have to perform in a classroom to be eligible. Okay. And there's no guarantee an 18-year-old kid is even going to come close to that in the NFL, which this kid just signed for.
I know. And
there's pros and cons, Chip. We could talk.
Listen, I don't feel good about it. I really don't, because I could see a quarterback in 5 years going to 4 different schools and getting, just hopping behind them, a vagabond or carpetbagger, so to speak.
Well, the only way that can happen, I mean, they can only transfer once. Okay.
Oh, really? Because they've already had a number
once. Anytime after the second or third time, for example, what you're saying, they have to take a year off. They have to redshirt.
Well, they'll be in the NFL by then, most likely.
Yeah. So it is what it is. It's certainly the traditionalist in college football, like yourself. It sounds like
it's going to be interesting this year, Ross. It really is, to see what's going on. I mean,
UCLA and USC, they are the Pac-12.
I know. And how they go to? How are they going to give me a break?
The Pac-12 going to
survive? Going what, to the Big Ten? Is that where they're going now? The Big Ten?
Yeah.
And these academics are great, because the Big Ten is 12 teams to start with. I mean, I just love it.
Now you got the Big Ten adding UCLA and USC, and you got SEC adding Texas and Oklahoma, and I think I'm missing one more. I mean,
they're really raping these
conference, the 2 power conferences.
They're raping these conferences, and it's terrible. I don't like it. I really.
Anyway, all right, let's get to the matter at hand.
All right,
something new. Tell the folks how you're doing, and where they could find you, and what you got coming up, and then give
Okay.
us your free pick.
All
How's
right.
that?
Thank you very much, Russ. I misspoke before. I said 16-9. I'm actually 17-10. The 1-1's got to be added to that. But chugging along, baseball is a grind. We all know it. Today on Friday, I have one play and a free play on the total. So we're picking our spots out there in Major League Baseball. Usually on Saturday, Ross, I will provide 3 games and a 3-game set with a mega buck or a play best bet winner. And you can get that at chipwins.com and get exclusively the a play right there at the lowest price on the internet, Ross. And I have the free game for you this Saturday in the Major League Baseball between the 2 rivals on the West Coast. One thing about San Diego, and they're playing at Los Angeles. This is the game I'm talking about. The Padres just don't seem to play well against the better teams. I mean, they're under 500 against the Dodgers and Giants, and everyone else they schmaltz. But one guy they usually are able to rely on, and he even had his bad 18 months and has made a great comeback. Darvish, right? I mean, he's 7-3 this year, 2.36 ERA, very tough to hit. He's averaging 6.1 innings to start this year, and going against Tyler Anderson from Las Vegas at 8-1. Very fortunate with a 3.23 ERA. Ross, he's only averaging 5.1 innings per start. But both these guys are really tough to hit. Anderson's only given up 68 hits in 78 innings. And listen to this stat about Darvish. We're looking this stuff up, but this is his 14th start. In 3 starts, he's given up, 19 runs. He's given up 9 runs in 1 game, 5 and so his ERAs have been inflated because in 10 of his other starts, he's only given up 3 runs once and 1 or 2 runs 9 times. So he's had great outings out there overall. And I'm going to play this game under the total. Padres are 5-1 to the under in their last 6 on the road. And I've got some stats here for the Dodgers as well to the totals on the under. They're 5-1-1 the last 7 games under. I just think the Padres have difficulty against these better teams. And the Dodgers bullpen comes deep, even though Anderson's only going 5-1 innings. I think it's an underplay. Totals in baseball are doing fairly well for us, Ross. So let's see if we can come up with another winner here.
I believe the total's 7.5, correct?
Right, that's what I saw. That's what I saw.
So Padres and the Dodgers under 7.5. And Chip, you mentioned those bad outings by Darvish, and the rest of the outings are just those have all come on the road. He's been terrific at home.
Well, this one's on the road, but I hope
he's on the road.
I hope he comes to pitch well. I mean, when he first came into the league, his stuff was so nasty. It took him a long time to catch up with him. And then he sort of I don't know if he got lost there for a while, if it was control or whatever it was, but he really wasn't pitching as well. And I think last year he got off to a good start, and this year he's off to another great start.
He's been okay since he went to San Diego. His issues came at the tail end of his career with the Cubs, I believe.
Right.
So, so San Diego and the LA Dodgers under 7.5 for Mr. Chip Chirimbes. And like he just touched upon, his website is chipwins.com. That's chipwins.com or the aplay.com, whatever you prefer. The A play, of course, is Chipper's top play of the day. And he does awful well with what he terms to be his megabucks plays, which are the equivalent of my 10-star top play. We just have trademarks. Those are best bets. We don't give out more than one of those in a day. So just keep that in mind. And 17-10 with his last 27 in Major League Baseball, folks, that's 63%. And like we've been harping on since we started in baseball on this channel, we've always told you we don't lay big favorites. So 17-10, 63% without laying big chalks is the equivalent of somebody else's, I don't know.
A few nice sized dogs in there as well, Ross.
Yeah. So there you go. Totals. I mean, so, all right. So I'm going to take a look at the Arizona Colorado game, 9:10 p.m. Eastern time. Colorado right now minus 140 and the total is 11.5. Again, this game goes on Saturday, July the 2nd. Dallas Keuchel gets a start. Keuchel gets a start for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he's been absolutely brutal this year. The Diamondbacks picked him up. A change of scenery didn't help, as his first outing with Arizona was terrible, like most of his others have been this season. Specifically speaking, Keuchel has an 8.18 ERA and a 2.15 whip and averages just 4 innings per start this season. And that's in 9 starts. In those last 3, how about this? 13.94 ERA, 261 WHIP, 3-0 over the total. The Arizona bullpen on the road, a 5.02 ERA and 148 WHIP. That's not good at all, folks. And doesn't bode well when you're pitching in a hitter-friendly park like Coors Field. Austin Gomber gets a start for the Colorado Rockies, and he's another one that's struggling. Those last 4 starts, a 12.71 ERA, a 2.24 WHIP, and 4.3 innings pitched per start. So neither one of these guys are getting deep into games, and they're really taxing their bullpens. As a matter of fact, 7 home runs at home this year in 33 2/3 innings pitched allowed by Gomber. Coors Field can make even chipper.
Yeah.
Offensively struggling teams be explosive. And I think this is going to be one of those cases. I know 11.5 is real high, but you know what? That number's there for a reason. And it is at Coors Field with 2 terrible starting pitchers. I'm going over the total.
Yep.
Arizona, Colorado over 11.5. Chipper like San Diego,
you gotta
the
love
LA
it there,
Dodgers,
Ross.
under 7.5. Go ahead, Chip. I'm sorry.
You gotta love the over there. Bloop singles are going for triples, and they have all kinds of problems. I love this place.
You got to love a place where if the wind conditions are blowing in 20 miles an hour from left center field, the game's still going over.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I'll tell you something. The Las Vegas Aviators, the AAA team they have out here, affiliated of Oakland, their ballpark is situated where there's a wind coming all the time out here. And I have buddies out there and it's blowing out, and the totals are going 13, 14.5. And there's one side is scoring 15 runs. The wind is such a factor. So sometimes to have that kind of information is really great.
Yeah, I would take the Aviators over. What's their farm club? The A's, right? Right now?
The A's.
Yeah, I would take them in a 3-game series. I would bet the Aviators right now. Anyway, my Major League Baseball totals 13-9 last 22. Not great, but modestly good. Major League Baseball run line plays 9-4 with my last 13. My Major League Baseball money line top plays 53-25 since May 11th of 2018. So as you can see, not an enormous sample size, but still big enough, 68%. And I don't give out big chalks. And my Major League Baseball top plays overall, that includes everything, money line, total, run lines. Since the start of last year, 49-28, 64%. And a lot of good to be had at rbwins.com. That's my website, rbwins.com, folks. I give you my personal guarantee that if you buy a daily multi-game or single game package, you must win, you must make a profit, or I will credit your account back the exact amount of your purchase price. Also, those of you who have not registered at my website and you're on the fence, $100 sign-up bonus. Hit that register button at the top left-hand side of the page. It's a short form, 30 minutes or 30 seconds it takes you to fill it out. Don't be like Chip and call me on the phone and say you can't figure out how to fill out the form. And then he calls me back 5 minutes later and says, okay, I got the $100 bonus, send it to me. No, you got to use it in sales. I'm just kidding. Chipper wouldn't do that. Anyway, until the next time, for Chip Chirimbes and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you a fantastic, a fun, but safe July the 4th weekend. Until the next time, good luck and God bless, folks.